Okay guys, I think I may have found it. The best venison jerky recipe around, according to this guy right here, Josh from Josh and Hunter's Adventures. He claims that he has the best venison jerky recipe, so I put it to the test. And I think I agree with him even before I get started. You wanna know why? It's a lot of his ingredients I already use. I loved ketchup growing up. So for me to see ketchup in the recipe, I was like, this is gonna be amazing. So let's get started and make some jerky. We use this 10-inch Cabelas slicer for jerky. It is amazing, and my husband's family has been using it for years. I use a top round roast when I'm making jerky because there's not a lot of connective tissue in it. I had taken mine out of the freezer 2 hours prior to this, but if you're using a fresh roast, be sure to pop it in the freezer for at least 2 hours to firm up the meat. I set my slicer to number 6, which is about 1/8 of an inch thick. I wondered if these slices might be too thin, but I just had to wait for the results, and so do you. If you have any silver skin on the outside of your roast, it's best to remove it before you slice it. That's what I'm doing right here. And before moving on, I gave the slicer a quick cleanup using soap and hot water. It's marinade time! I have the full recipe linked in the description down below, so be sure to check that out when this video is done. I started by adding some soy sauce, Worcester Shire sauce, liquid hickory smoke, ketchup, the best ingredient in this whole thing, garlic powder and onion powder, some good old table salt, and fresh ground pepper. And then we give it a little whiskey business. Now that that's ready, let's pop the meat in a bag. I cut up 5 pounds of venison for this recipe, so I tried to distribute it as evenly as possible between 2 large freezer bags. And I tried to do the same thing with the marinade. Once the marinade was added, I tried to take as much air out of the bag as possible. I think I should have left a little bit of air in there and gave them a good smush and squish. You should marinate this jerky between 8 to 12 hours. I think I ended up doing like 14. I did squish the bags a couple times during this process to make sure they were all evenly coated. The passage of time. Thanks for that impromptu voiceover.
You're welcome.
Now that my meat was marinated really good, I laid it out on my trays and made sure there was at least 1 inch around each piece of meat for air to circulate. However, because of aggressive smushing of the bags, some of the meat had really broken apart. Let's speed this process up. Time to dehydrate. Even with a meat loss, I did end up having 10 trays to put into my dehydrator. I set the temp for about 155 degrees and waited for 2 hours.
It has been 2 hours. That one's still not okay. But that one's feeling pretty good. Still not ready, but I'll check them, and if I feel like any are ready, I will pull them off. Oh yeah, these still need time.
Just had this piece that I pulled out. It honestly tastes like jerky that you buy from the store. It is amazing! So I think at this point, this guy has definitely won Best Jerky Award. My kids, husband, and friends felt the same way. Thanks Josh from Josh and Hunter's Adventures. Your recipe rocks. Thanks for watching guys. Happy cooking.